There's issues that have been made political that are not political, and it's a real travesty. You know, the homeless crisis, which is a drug crisis and a mental health crisis. You know, there's so many things that I could point out that have been really sad to watch become politicized and have, you know, these media environments where you've got, you know, conservative media that has branched off and is a thing because they weren't welcome or didn't fit in mainstream news. And, you know, and I can give some examples. I kind of want to test the limits of whether you'll air this episode because I'm like,
God, yeah.
I promise you,
yeah.
we'll air. We
I
mean, I'm just giving you some examples of like how the manipulation happened. I mean, we all know how the manipulation happens on homelessness. I mean, we have this situation where it is very clearly, almost without exception, a drug crisis, and you might disagree, a drug crisis and a mental health crisis.
I talk about that every day.
Yeah, and I mean, you might have the rare instance where somebody truly is escaping domestic violence, is absolutely down on their luck, had no safety net whatsoever, and finds themselves on the streets. If you're telling me we can't help that person with $700 million every year dedicated to homelessness, then you're lying to me, and you're stealing it, you're putting it somewhere. Where is it going? But you see the media, the mainstream media, continue to peddle this narrative that's pushed by the former governor and the current governor and the King County executive and everyone in between, that this is a housing crisis that will be fixed if only we built more homes. My dad died homeless. He died in a cheap motel room, lifetime of addiction. He had a home, he had a family. Putting him under a roof, he just would have died under the roof. Like, put him in a $10 million mansion, he would have died in a $10 million mansion. So it's just this total fallacy, but somehow the mainstream media has succeeded, and I think in working with Democrats, is painting anyone who dissents from that as somehow like less, you know, what is the word I'm looking for? Less enlightened about how society works. You know, and then there's little things that really, truly bother me that, you know, the immigration crisis. I'm fine. We can't have a nuanced conversation about anything. The media doesn't allow nuance, right? Like, this is the only type of setting you can have nuance. You know, and you see this ridiculous coverage, like the immigration crisis. I think most Americans feel like, hey, we want people here from other countries. You know, that's what America is all about. Like, yeah, you got to come in through the legal avenues. You know, are we in favor of rounding up people who've been here for 30 years, haven't committed any new crimes? Should that be the priority? Probably not. But then you see stories, and it only serves to divide us, you know, like the Seattle Times. Anytime there's an illegal alien arrested, they call him like Kirkland Man. You know, the guy who killed the Washington State Patrol trooper. What do they call him? Washington Man. It's like, no, now you're just pissing people off. Like, that's not a Washington Man. It's a illegal Mexican national. Came here illegally, committed multiple law violations, was protected by our sanctuary policies, killed a cop, and you're calling him a Washington Man. The teacher in Kirkland who came in on I know we're going far afield, but who came in on a tourist visa and just decided to stay and then got a job teaching kids. He's only been here 6 years, and the Seattle Times is calling him a Kirkland Man. It's like, you have to be kidding me. Give me a break. There was a news story out of Portland. This is where I'm like, please edit it out or don't air the episode.
We have never edited anything, I don't think.
You know, you haven't had me in. You know, the news media this is one of the things that sent me far right too, is the radical gender ideology.